Now, the former head of ICE, Tom Homan, has just been picked as Border Czar for the upcoming administration, and he recently went on 60 Minutes to justify the price that migrants and Americans will pay for his plan. Take a look.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
I don't care what anybody's opinion is on illegal immigration. When you create a crisis this big, all these other bad things happen. That's why we have to secure the border. I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or independent. Border security is national security.
So perhaps that means that they will go back to the plan that was that both the Republicans and the Democrats were going to do at the border and was stopped by you-know-who. So maybe that's in his mind, that there is something to do there.
You realize, I mean, it's chilling what he just said. You realize that when he says, yes, families can be deported together, what he is saying is that U.S. citizens can be deported. What he is saying is, if the parent is undocumented and they have U.S. citizen children or U.S. citizen spouse, or and you don't want to separate them, then let's deport the U.S. citizens. Look, Donald Trump won the electoral vote. He won. He's going to win the House. He won the Senate. For all effects and purposes, he's got the Supreme Court. They've given him immunity. This is what the country voted for. This is, a lot of people thought that when he talked about mass deportations, he wasn't being serious. I don't know how many times he had to say it for people to realize he was being serious. Well, if you thought he wasn't being serious, the appointment of Tom Homan today as Border Czar, and he will be in charge of a mass deportation program, the largest the country has ever seen, they say. And now Stephen Miller, as Deputy Chief of Staff, should let you know that he was absolutely serious. And when you talk about mass deportations, people think, oh, it's just going to be the criminals. There's not enough criminals, aliens in the federal prison system for it to be mass deportations. What it means is grandmothers. What it means is brothers and aunts. What it means is abuelos y abuelas. It means dreamers. It means family members. It means your colleagues. It means your friends. It means people who are part of the society. And look, America, those of you who voted for Trump, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. You screwed around and you're about to find out.
Well, we are going to find out. You all screwed around for years with our livelihood, our borders, illegal immigration, our taxes, and now you are upset because even tonight, we'll probably talk about it, there has been some, I guess, breaking news, if you will, or some good news that President Trump is doing. They are going to drive themselves off of a cliff. The reaction is predictable, and I love it, because they are being driven crazy. They can't take it. They don't know what to do. Specifically to Anna Navarro, she conflated a couple of things in there. Number one, felons typically will have to serve their time before they're deported. That's number one, typically. Number two, parents who are here illegally keep the family together. The children are here. Maybe they were born here, but would ask them, would you want families to be separated? No. Well, then go with your parents. I mean, what other choice do we have, right? What other choice do we have? No one wants to see families separated, but we don't want illegal immigrants here. Number three, now she didn't use this word, I don't think, but I have said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I am sick of the media and calling these people migrants. No, migrants are people who move from within a geographic area or from one geographic area within the same country, like California to Maryland. Those are migrants. These people are illegal immigrants. They keep conflating all these terms.
Absolutely. I want to get you in on this, Tyrone. Before I do want to acknowledge our super chatters here. All right. We have No Compromise with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Says they so quickly forget that this guy started under Obama. Yes, he did. He worked under the Obama administration he was an executive associate director of enforcement and removal operations for immigration and customs enforcement under Obama. And during that administration, ICE carried out a record number of deportations. That's something that they don't talk a lot about. Under Obama, there were a record number of deportations while he was president. What are your thoughts on this, Tyrone?
Well, yeah, not only that, Barack Obama started the cages. Remember that whole controversy? So we don't have to be apologetic about the security of our borders. Further, that reporter in the beginning said that it will cost $80 billion to conduct these mass deportations. Every year that we've had the Biden administration and this unfettered immigration, we've spent on average $150 billion a year. So it sounds like we're in store for a $70 billion savings. All right, so let's get it started, okay? Midnight, the 12:01, January 20th. Let's get it started. Look, as far as the kids are concerned, again, and this guy said this to Ocasio-Cortez back when he testified before Congress. Anybody in this country is riding along in a car with their child right after they finished committing a crime, if they're apprehended, they're going to be separated from their children. Now, we're not going to take care of your children. When they get 18 under the current rule, they want to come back as citizens, fine. We should do something about birthright citizenship. We are, I think we're the only country that has that going on. But no, you got to take your kids with you. You got to take responsibility. I'm tired of hearing from these liberal women with this compassion that is destroying our nation. Let's not be apologetic about it at all.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny you mentioned the birthright citizenship. Trump said that he was going to get rid of it through executive order. He argues that it creates an incentive for illegal immigration or for a woman to simply travel to the U.S. from another country when she's pregnant. So he is set to get rid of birthright citizenship with executive order on day one, is what he said.
Absolutely.
On day one.
That's right. I think it was Epic Times I was reading earlier mentioned that Trump is seriously I'm paraphrasing, considering getting rid of birthright citizenship. And he just appointed, at least some of the news headlines are saying he just appointed Marco Rubio for the head of state.
Oh,
Secretary of State.
Yep, Secretary of State.
Okay.
Oh, Secretary of State.
I think that's what's being reported in the headline.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, basically, folks, it's promises made, promises kept. This was a number one issue that Trump said that he was going to target. And he's putting people in position that mean business. I believe he just also announced Stephen Miller was going to be head of the policy portion of this illegal immigration.
Good.
And we know Stephen Miller was behind him in his previous administration getting rid of these illegals. So they're not playing around. And guess what? Illegals know this. First of all, border control morale has gone up. U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents has skyrocketed following Donald Trump's landslide election victory last week, according to the Daily Mail. National Border Control Council President Paul Perez says that Trump made illegal immigration and border security central parts of his 2024 platform, promising to finish this border wall and conduct the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. There are a lot of agents that had originally said they would retire if President Trump did not win. Now these agents are saying they're going to hold back on retirement because they want to serve under this administration again. That's huge.
Exactly. Can you imagine how demoralizing it is for these border patrol agents and the customs personnel to constantly have this revolving door? You know, yes, they're getting paid, but they're working understaffed, overtime, and have to constantly have people come through illegally. They have to do whatever they do to process them, how much it costs for us to house them, feed them, medical care. And these people are constantly the same people cycling through. Not only that, the money that we literally are paying taxpayer supported positions, bureaucrats off of our money. And these are the people who are not even enforcing the laws. So in a sense, indirectly, we are paying them to harm us.
Right.
We also have to take into account the financial impact on municipalities. Okay. Now, you saw how much difficulty this whole immigration thing was putting New York City in. Okay. Arguably one of the richest municipalities in the world. And Eric Adams himself said that this thing was going to break New York City financially.
Right.
Well, when you start to look at these smaller municipalities, they had a mayor up in South Portland, Maine. They've raised taxes to support everything they're doing for illegal immigrants. People are saying, look, I'm not going to be able to, I'm paying more in taxes than I ever was in the mortgage. Okay.
Right.
And then the mayor had the nerve to come out and say, well, maybe you need to take out a reverse mortgage to pay your taxes.
Wow.
Okay. He should have been tarred and feathered.
He should have been reversed his tenure. Reverse his tenure.
Yeah, they need to vote him out immediately.
Yeah. And you mentioned New York. I'm sorry, KJ. You mentioned New York. Now, granted, $3 million is a drop in the bucket when you compare it to billions, right? But guess what? Before you get to a billion, you have to get the millions. So let's start saving the 3 millions here and there, and it will add up over time. Those are called savings, taxpayer savings. 3 million this hour, 3 million the next day. That adds up. Eventually, you'll get to the billions.
But we're going to have to do something to make this permanent, because if Gavin Newsom gets in, hell, he'll just make America a state of Mexico the way he has destroyed California. So something legislatively, some court action needs to be done in order to make sure these borders stay secure even after 2028.
This is why I've been saying our Congress, senators have 6 years. I get it. But these 2 years, when we have the House, possibly, it looks like we're going to have the House.
We do. They've already announced it. We won the House.
Right. The Senate and the presidency, they got 2 years in the House because this is where the bill has to start. They got to start it there for the whatever and get it passed. But we have no excuse. We have zero excuse that our Congress and our Senate cannot do its job.
Absolutely. And they're trying to paint the new border czar, Tom Homan, as this racist, heartless person. But he's been on the ground working at the border. I mean, there's a story that has been, they found that it was true. So it's been proven that there's an incident where there was a caravan of illegals, young youth, being smuggled by coyotes at the border, and many of them had died, one being a 5-year-old boy. And so this man, Tom Homan, was there. He was on the scene, and he held that boy, his dead body, in his arms. And so he said then, it's not just, these liberals want to say that, we're being cruel by deporting these people. It's cruel to push forward a narrative that you can just come here illegally across the border. And then they try to do this. And many of them are being smuggled with human trafficking. Many people die along the way.
We know what happens to these children, Sean. And look, the illegal aliens coming across the border, people need to understand, 31% of women that make that journey get raped by criminal cartels. Children get raped. I've talked to little girls as young as 9 that have been raped multiple times. These cartels are animals, and that's why President Trump's going to take them off the face of the earth. They've killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world. And President Trump is committed to calling them terrorist organization and using the full might of the United States Special Operations to take them out.
This is causing deaths. Right. And that's on the blood of on this administration's hands.
Look, the other thing I always say is turn this right back. Nobody cares about these charges of racism anymore. Hispanics turned out in record numbers to support Donald Trump. Hispanics who immigrated here illegally, did the hard work to get here. The other thing is that we need to really emphasize is that illegal immigration drives human trafficking. It drives unspeakable horrors that happen to women and girls. it drives child labor, abusive child labor. Okay. So these Democrats are anything but compassionate. Okay. They want to perpetuate a system that basically is evil. All right. And we need to throw that back in their faces every chance we get.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And you know what, Tyrone, you mentioned the human trafficking part of it. Guess where the bulk or a significant portion of the human trafficking takes place? Up and down this 95 corridor. And you know why? Particularly in this DC, Maryland area. You know why? Because we have a whole lot of diplomats and people that come foreign emissaries that come back and forth, and they can bring in these people because a lot of them get diplomatic immunity.
Right.